Hello, friends, and welcome to Monday Show 19. I am your host, Wes. With me, as always, my good friend, Ruuts. Ruuts, a normal work week or an abbreviated holiday week this week?
That's a good abbreviation. I don't have to work as much, but still got to work, so that's a little bit sad. But a lot more time for VR, which is good with all the VR gaming I need to get into this week.
So, just Christmas Eve off, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day.
Yeah,
What's it looking like for
pretty
you?
much. We slow down a little bit more this time of year, so definitely get off early Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, and New Year. I'll get off early as well, and then New Year's Day. It's kind of weird because people don't typically want me spraying poison near them or their food on holidays, so it's a little bit.
What?
Yeah, I know. Isn't that crazy?
What the hell is wrong with those people?
Yeah. I believe a good little bit of poison builds your immunity. So come on over to my house. I'll spray you with some poison.
That's what makes us strong.
Yeah.
That's how we're going to make America great again. We're going to just take little small doses of poison until we have iron fortitude.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Anyway, the time off from work couldn't be more timely, right? We've got this 2019 show coming up next week, which, by the way, guys, the only show we're going to do next week is the 2019 show. It's going to fall on Wednesday, right, Ruuts?
Yeah, on New Year's Day. Yep.
New Year's Day, early in the afternoon, so don't get too hammered, so hammered that you're out of commission the whole next day, because that's when we're going to do our party in the daylight hours. What? Anyway, timely vacation from work, because we've got all of these games that we have to review, hundreds of hours of gameplay that were laid on us by the top game makers in the world this past year, and it's a mess. It's a mess to sort out, isn't it? Thank God for our community coming in, voting on the Discord, which, by the way, invite in the description if you want to give your 2 cents. Thank God we have our community to help us figure out these categories, because there's like 32 of them. There's no way we'd be able to do this whole thing by ourselves, right?
Yeah, and I need to get back in. That's one of the reasons why I went into Audica tonight and gave it like 4 or 5 songs, and I'm going to systematically go through. I'm going to start with all the game of the years, and I'm going to go down each list, and over the next I guess close to 2 weeks, probably 12 days or whatever, I'll be formulating my opinion, and then we'll bring it all together with what everybody's saying in the Discord as well.
Right. So I guess the timeline for this thing is we're going to let you guys give your opinion all this week up through probably Sunday or so. And then we'll take the early part of next week, Ruuts and I will, to put the episode together. Early New Year's Day, we'll do a live premiere. We'll be giving away games in the live chat, and there will also be codes hidden throughout the video for those of you with eagle eyes. So yeah, it's going to be a blast. And if you're curious and you haven't seen our categories yet, obviously we're doing this the way we do everything, just a little bit differently. If you're not familiar with what our categories are, we're going to be discussing that here in just a few minutes, so stick around. But first, before we do the 2019 show, Ruuts, we got one more Monday show to do, right?
Yep, absolutely.
So as we always do, we're going to start off by talking about what we've been playing. And this first one really surprised me, Ruuts. The Under Presents. Was it, would you even call it a game? I guess it is a game, right?
Yeah, it's a game. It's an experience. It's everything. It's bizarre. It's weird. I never ran into this cat. Apparently the cat is a actor, because I've never seen the cat anywhere in my 3 hours so far. And
Okay, I did see the cat. I saw the cat today.
did you?
But it wasn't an actor. It was like an NPC.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I ran into a couple of actors, and man, this thing is just cool, and it's very confusing because we were just talking about this before we started. A lot of it is just not explained. They you kind of get in there and you just kind of explore and look around. So it's one of those games where there's certain people that they want a linear game. They want to go from point A to point B. They want to go as quickly as possible, and I don't know if that's possible in this. What do you think?
I mean, you could play it like that. There is a specific. It's hard to explain. There's an experience within an experience here, and that inside inner experience, I guess you could call it a game, kind of like the Invisible Hours, because it is kind of puzzly. It's hard to explain. This is one of the most unique things I've ever taken part in. I absolutely love it because it's so crazy. Basically, the Under is this nightclub, and there's all kinds of variety acts coming on. Actors, musicians. When live actors are available, or live artists will say, they will mingle with you in the audience. But when there's not, it kind of goes into an autopilot recorded performance. And that's what I saw with the cat there. They did a musical number called Moist Food or something like that. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
But anyway, what I really love about this thing is it's like you're in the fifth dimension. You're kind of outside normal time and space, but you have the ability to manipulate both. You can move time forward and backward, and you can actually pull the space-time continuum around you and use that as a way to move faster through space. I absolutely love it. I've never, it's hard to say never. I've seen some unique stuff, but I've never seen anything quite like this. At least to me, it seems like they've set this nightclub up to be something that is persistent, something that stays. And the story that has come out with this episode feels like it's just the first part of something that's going to be ongoing, right?
Yeah, and it's like has something to do with was it called Time Boat or something? And it's kind of a cool story in that as well. And I don't know, man. I just thought this thing was so unique. When I got the NPC, or I guess I keep saying NPC, but it's an actual actor. He had an accent, and he just started talking to a bunch of us, and he was like trying to lead us to this crab hole, and he asked if one of us knew where it was, and the person got all excited and pointed, and he led us over there, and he was trying to help us with the puzzle, and it was really cool. It was just different. The one thing that I do wish that I could do is actually talk to other players. Everything's there's, as far as I can see, there's no communication outside of doing stuff to people. Like I was telling you, I kind of felt like I could get in trouble because I noticed yesterday there was a button on there that you could report people, and so I was like just taking stuff from people, messing with them. I'd grab their stuff, they'd grab something, and I'd take it away from them and throw it, and then they would grab something else, and I'd grab it again and throw it, and then one guy was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I don't know." Just messing with people a little bit, not too much, but I think I'm going to be a little bit more cautious now because at first I didn't even know they were real people. Like the beginning has some kind of a thing where you're seeing versions of yourself, and so it set me up to think that those were me. And then all of a sudden it dawned on me when I was doing that actor thing. Oh my God, these are real people, and it was pretty cool. So.
Yeah. It's cool because, you've got the mission, the time boat thing, which you talked about, which they kind of keep in a room, and they introduce it as an attraction in this nightclub. But the nightclub itself has its own puzzles to it. And even to get into the main nightclub, I don't want to give it away, but there's a really clever puzzle right off the bat. As soon as you start, it takes you a minute to kind of understand what's happening. But it's all about the manipulation of time and space, and it's just so clever. I was absolutely blown away by it. I expected to like it. I didn't expect it to be as original as it is. It's absolutely one of a kind. If you like that sort of thing, if you like to take in unique art, you're really going to dig this. If you like time puzzles, you're going to dig this. I'm trying not to ramble on about it. It's kind of hard to gather coherent thoughts around such an incoherent game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because this game's just everywhere, right?
Yeah. Well, let me ask you a question then. Did you find yourself, because you said you watched the wet food, and what a number, man. That, you got the two cats on the side and they're doing their little dance. Did you find yourself dancing a little bit along with them? Because it was the most bizarre shit. I'm like, what is this? Like, it was so weird and so cool and so different. The acts themselves were bizarre. The ventriloquist was a very bizarre act to watch as well. So I think it's just for, if you want to experience anything that's just weird and quirky and cool, it's only $20. And it is crossplay, I believe, correct? Or am I wrong on that?
I'm not sure actually. I have no idea if it's crossplay.
Okay, I thought it was, but maybe I'm wrong.
No, probably is, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ventriloquist cracked me up because he just gargles the whole time. It's funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's interesting. The club itself, you can spend a lot of time in, but the actual attractions, which there is just the time boat right now, but like I said, if people buy into this game and spend time in it, I could definitely see more story attractions being added in beyond just the time boat. But the time boat, I spent most of my time in the time boat, and I feel like I'm barely getting started with it because there's like 12 people or so on it, 12 different points of view. It's kind of like Invisible Hours, where you control the time. You can rewind it, see what this person's doing, rewind it, see what that person's doing. And I feel like I'm going to need to manipulate things in such a way to help these people avoid disaster, but I'm not quite sure how to do it yet. And I'll leave it at that. I don't want to spoil too much about it. And please, if you've gone further in this thing, don't spoil it for me. Let me figure this one out on my own. I'm definitely going back into this.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. It's one of those games that we were saying we might put 10 or 12 hours in this before we figure out everything that's going on. And there's actually other stuff going on out there. You roam around for a while. Like I said, there's that crab pit. I've found like debris and stuff that, you can manipulate, and you'll find out how when you get in. But I think because there was like a Stonehenge thing, and I think I was supposed to, there was a puzzle out there, but I couldn't finish it. So a lot of these things, it's like I'm figuring out, I'm trying to figure it out, but like I never saw this. What the hell is this thing? This is
exactly,
there's just so much to this game, and like you were saying, we both believe if it does well, they'll keep the actors going on, and looks like they're going to be adding stuff to it. But I don't know. So far, it's cool.
Yeah, really cool. And I didn't even mind the art is so stylized. I don't think it probably looks very different than it looked in the Quest, but it doesn't matter. It works, right? It works really well.
Yeah, works really well. Look at that cat, man. He's just chilling, just walking around.
Trying to get some wet food.
Yeah, wet food, man. That dance, dude, I'm telling you.
Anyway, yeah, definitely weird, unique, thought-provoking, honestly, in more ways than one. I'm blown away. I'm blown away by this. Absolutely spectacular so far. But that said, I've only put hour and a half into it thus far. Definitely look forward to getting back into it. But first impressions couldn't be better.
Yeah, when you left, one last thing, did you find yourself outside of VR snapping? Because man, you snap a lot in that game, and like even if you're applauding, that's all you can do is snap. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Which I did. I raised the roof a little bit too.
Did you? Oh yeah, hell yeah, man.
All right. So that's not all we got to play today. We also went into another one that's been getting pretty high marks from those of our community that have played it, the few of them. And I'm talking, of course, about Boiling Steel. This one has always been on the radar, but kind of off in the background because it came at a time where there was a lot of AAA stuff coming out, big titles. So we didn't get. Did you notice that the chick getting down over there, the hologram chick?
Yeah.
What was that all about?
I don't know. Yeah, because I didn't see it in the game, but that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I did see it in the game.
Did you?
Like, what the hell? That was just the menu screen, like just the like chick hologram over there, just getting down, shaking that thing. Anyway, this one kind of fell to the wayside because it picked a weird time to come out. A lot of big titles coming out. But again, people said it was good, so Ruuts and I went in and decided to give it a look. Not bad, right?
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all. It was a little weird at first. I wasn't exactly sure what to expect, but I went into it a little bit anticipating. I was talking, or Mamefan was mentioning in Discord that after Stormland, this game was a little bit of a disappointment, and so my mind was thinking that. So, thanks, Mamefan. So I was already thinking, So it's hard when you compare it to something, but so the first part of it was a little slow, and I was feeling like I wasn't really getting into it, but the more time I got into it, it actually started to open up, and it did feel it was a lot more fun. So
yeah, I had the same thing, and it wasn't that I had any kind of preconceived notion with it. I thought it would be okay. To be honest, I was a little underwhelmed with it at first. Like you said, it's a bit of a slow burn at first. The tutorial's kind of weird because you get into it and there's this combat tutorial, and then you think that you're done with the tutorial. You do kind of a little mission, and then there's a plot twist, and then you do another tutorial, which is kind of a UI tutorial to teach you how to use the interface. And then you get into actual missions and what this game is about. And it takes a while to get there. It takes some time to learn all the stuff. But after you get through it all and you know how to fight, you have some weapons. The weapons level up pretty easily at first. And then you learn how to use your data pad user interface to manipulate computers and things in these bases. It gets to be pretty fun after a while, doesn't it?
yeah, and actually this beginning part looked really cool. I was really intrigued about all these portals, and it looked like each one was linked to one specific portal, and you have stuff going back and forth and up and down. And so I thought this thing was really stunning. As far as like in the beginning, it's just the guns felt weird, and like you said, the tutorial, it was bizarre. But once I got to the actual weapons and the tools and those robots that attack you, man, like they swarm you. And at some points, just even the beginning, I felt a little overwhelmed. It's like, oh my God, these things are everywhere I'm turning. I'm seeing a laser and I'm having to move. Something's attacking me. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. For sure. Really, my only complaint comes from the combat. I don't feel like you can move around quite like you should be able to move around. Your feet are firmly planted on the ground at all times in this game. There is no jumping. There is no teleport. It's all smooth locomotion. You can't jump at all. There's no way to do it. And sometimes that isn't an issue. Like I don't like if I'm playing Farpoint, I never even think about whether or not I can jump. It's just whatever. But in this, there seems to be things that you want to jump over and you can't, and it kind of feels weird. What bothers me even more than that, though, is even if you turn like the smooth turn all the way up, it's still kind of slow, and the walking is an okay pace, but as soon as you draw a weapon, like your character starts walking slower. You'd want your character to get faster if you're in combat, but instead it does the opposite. It gets slower, and there's no 180 turn. So if enemy is pursuing you, you just kind of have to guess where they're at and hope by the time you turn around that you've got enough space in between them. I felt like that was a little bit uncomfortable, but besides that, I agree wholeheartedly with what you said. Uh, it's fun, especially when these different enemy types start swarming you, and you'll get 2, 3, 4 different enemy types early on in the game swarming you. And visually, it looked really good. It reminded me of Gunheart, the level of graphics and sound in it. Did you draw that comparison as well?
No, I didn't. Not as far. I mean, it did graphically. It looked really good, but Gunheart. I guess it does. Now that you're saying that, it does kind of look like that. But one of the things about the weapons that I thought was different is there's no reload. You just use the weapon till it's used up, throw it away, and they explain it. You're spawning these things, and I don't know if you can change the weapons. From what I saw, it was always two choices, and you could choose. Like there's a tool that helped you weld through stuff in the beginning, but one of them is like shocking stuff, and so you're like a short range shocking them, and then the other was like at one point was shooting grenade things at them. And so it was changing to different stuff, but it was definitely different.
Yeah, I think what's going to happen as we go on in this game, before you select each mission, you get to choose a shell or a different robot to put your consciousness in, and it'll have different variations of the weapons with different abilities, and you kind of customize all that stuff before you get into the mission. And yeah, I thought it was cool. It turned out to be a lot more detailed than I thought it was going to be when it comes to all that stuff. Really good job. I'm surprised. When I first heard about this game months ago, I wasn't expecting much from it. And even after hearing people say it was good, I still really wasn't expecting much from it. And pleasantly surprised here. A solid indie title.
Yeah, like you, I wish you could move a little bit faster. You can dash though. It does have a dash thing, and you'll dash forward or backward depending on, and it like has a meter, uses your energy. So that was kind of cool as well.
Yeah, I like the dash. I didn't like how the cooldown period in between, like if you're sitting, you're clicking the button like this. I counted like it would dash, and then I could push the button 6 times in between the next dash. But with that said, it's another one of those earned abilities that you're going to get different robots, and as you use them and level them up, that cooldown time in between dashes is going to decrease. So it's just where we're new at it. I think as we put more time into the game, the weapons are going to get better, the abilities are going to get better, and I imagine that the maps and the missions are going to get more difficult as well.
Yeah, it looks pretty like it. It looks like something I'd like to go back into and try. So
it looks like something that me a year ago would have loved.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely a victim of the Asgard's effect, right?
Yeah. What's this one going for? $20, I think, right?
$20, I'm pretty sure, but it is a Viveport Infinity title as well. So if you've got Viveport, you can play it as a part of that.
Yeah. Yeah. So it is kind of cool. I do like the way that you spawn your weapons and just kind of throw them away. You just literally grab it and pull it, and it all of a sudden is there. It's kind of unique in that respect. So
yeah, I like that flare gun. Like you could you shoot them with the flare gun, and it doesn't do a lot of damage at first, but it sticks to them, and it just constantly ticks away at their energy bar until they die. Or if you like just shot them straight up with it 2 or 3 times, it would kill most of the lower level enemies. Now those big guys, I mean those big guys are pretty tough. The ones that have the spread weapon that they're shooting you with.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder because that's like literally 5 minutes in of the enemies. So I mean, what are we going to see after an hour? Or, I guarantee the way that these weapons or these enemies are ramping up already, it's probably going to be pretty crazy stuff going on. There was a lot of doors that was telling me, it was mocking me, saying I couldn't go in there. There's no energy. So I'm thinking at some point, because you go to different spots and you have a tool that allows you to charge things up. So you'll probably get to open up different areas and stuff, right? So.
Yeah, I got that feeling as well, because it seemed to me, the beginning part of the game and then like the second part after the plot twist, it seemed like that they were pretty far apart in time, and there was some time in between, but it seemed like I was retreading some of the ground that I was in before, only at a later point in time. So I think that we may actually get to come back to some of these places with the new data thing and actually get in some of those doors that were closed.
Oh yeah, it's true. You got those the iPad thing that lets you open up different doors, and it's kind of cool. So
yeah, let you hack laptops and just all kinds of different stuff you can do with it. I really liked the game after you got that thing, because the game, not only did the levels start to take off, but the your abilities, you finally they keep you on a pretty short leash through the tutorial, but right there at the very end of my play session, I felt like I was okay. Now I'm playing a game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, yeah, 2 good titles this week. Not always the case, but did a pretty good job picking 2 solid titles to play this week, right before we jump back into playing Asgard's Wrath and Storm.
Yeah, and all the good ones, right?
Yeah. That's why we're not going to have a Monday show next week, because what are we going to say? We're going to say that we played all the best games of the 2019. That's what the 2019 show is for. And trust me, that one's going to be epic. I imagine it's going to probably be longer
2 shows in
than
one.
The normal 2 shows would have been put together anyway,
Yep,
right?
absolutely.
And so let's talk about that then. We've talked about our games. Let's talk about our categories. Again, the 2019 show, January 1st, in the early afternoon, live premiere. We're going to be giving out all sorts of keys. We've got 30-some keys to give away. Most of them will probably go into the chat somehow. We're not just going to drop all the keys straight up. We'll figure out a way to do it, make it a little more fair. But some of them will be in the video as well. And as many keys as we have almost that many categories to give awards for. And man, I'm looking forward to this. My favorite part of this is seeing what the community says to these categories, Ruuts. And even though we've only got 4 or 5 that have went in and done it so far, I've really enjoyed seeing what they think, right?
Yeah, it's really cool to see everybody voting, and then being able to put it all together and then put our stuff, our ideas as well, and formulate that those top spots. I'm enjoying it already, and we're just starting.
Yeah. So let's talk about these categories. Obviously, anybody who watches our show knows we kind of go against the grain here. It may seem a little weird to somebody who's new here, but we do things a little differently on this, and that's by design. We don't want to give you the same show that everybody else is giving you, and our award show is going to be no different. Of course, we've got our game of the year. Obviously, we're not going to dick around with that too much. It's the game of the year. And generally, this would be an afterthought, but not so much this year, right, Ruuts? We've got I bet we could probably come up with 10 solid candidates for Game of the Year this year.
Yeah, and that's what I'm starting with, when I go into these games over the next week or 10 days, I'm going to start with all the Game of the Year candidates. And this is the most recent one that I can see to date, Stormland, and it's high up there. And there would have been a time 6 months ago if I'd played Stormland, I'd say this is it, hands down. It's not. There's just so many good ones out there that legitimately will be in the running, and this is just one of them.
Yeah, there's 5 that there aren't much difference in between, and then there's 5 more from earlier in the year that I feel like are on that level, but just kind of get overlooked because of recency bias, and these newer ones are fresher in our mind. So we forget about the No Man's Skies and so on and so forth from way back in the day. But Trover Saves the Universe, a different kind of game, but a great game, right?
Absolutely, yeah. There's so many good ones. You got even Blood and Truth. There's a lot of different categories or different games that could be in there, and they're not all PC. There's several PlayStation ones as well, for sure.
Yeah, and that's for the general Game of the Year overall. We're also going to name specifically games of the year for PC, for PlayStation VR, and for Oculus Quest. So obviously, something like Quest, who would be at a disadvantage in the Game of the Year category because of their titles being mostly ports or most of them being on Rift. We're going to name the Game of the Year for Quest, and it could be any game that came out this year could get the Game of the Year for Quest. Same thing with PSVR. Not a lot of exclusives came out this year. Quite a few ports. But whatever the best Game of the Year on PSVR was is going to win. And I think what you're looking at here is a pretty strong candidate, if you ask me.
Yeah, there's so many good ones, and this is just a testament to this year. It's just been a bang up year. It started out a little slow, and I don't think any of us knew this time last year what was coming.
No, we had no idea. Even after, we had an idea that there was potential for this year to be special because we knew the Quest was coming since OC5. They announced at OC5 that we were going to get standalone 6.VR this year, and people were pretty excited about that. We didn't know that PC VR was going to get quite the kick that it got from the new headsets and then the new games that followed, and even the new games that are still going to follow in 2020. The trend's just going to continue now, at least for the next year, and that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, and I think it's going to feed itself, as these really, we've already seen what has happened just in the last 6 months with all the amazing games that have been coming out for all these systems, and we're just running into amazing game after amazing game. So
yeah, I definitely, on the software side, see the trend continuing for another 12 months at the very least. And the way that hardware has been selling this holiday season, for every one person that gets a new headset, that's another 10 people over the next few months that they're going to show theirs to. It's exponential growth. So by the end of 2020, I'd say that probably 3 times the number of people that have tried VR now will have tried VR. I think that many more people are going to get to see it in some form this year, thanks to the mobility of Quest, thanks to the popularity of the PC VR games, and that's not to even consider the continuing growth of PlayStation VR. 2020 is it's going to be another brand new year.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just shaping up that way for sure.
But as far as the 2019 awards go, obviously, Game of the Year, that's what we're going to work up to in every category. We've got the Nope Award, It's called the Nope Award because when you put somebody in VR and they get scared, that something really freaks them out. What do they say? They say nope, nope, nope.
Take that sucker
You know,
off.
that's what they do. They say nope and they take it off. So the Nope Award, it goes to that game or even just a moment from a game that you felt was really the scariest thing that happened in VR this year. So that's what the Nope Award's all about. We have an award for the best flat game that got ported into VR. And you're looking at a good one here. We're calling that the IHOP Award because obviously it's from a pancake game being brought into VR. So it's the IHOP Award. We had a few of them. We had Borderlands 2. We had, No Man's Sky we just looked at.
Yep.
A couple of good ones. We're also going to recognize the flat games that were modded into VR, but obviously we can't include them in the IHOP category because they aren't officially supported. So we're going to call that one the Waffle House Award. So the officially supported ones are the IHOP Award, and then the mod ones are the Waffle House Award. The Mel Brooks Award, that's going to be for the best comedy. A lot of funny games come out for VR this year. A couple really hilarious. Some of the funniest things I've ever seen. The Bloody Knuckles Award, most likely to make you break something, like I did with my TV earlier this year. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just
Ruuts.
going to say this would be a good one, or any Melee game really. Would be a great game that could be a potential TV breaker.
Yeah, Pistol Whip
Pistol
comes
Whip.
to mind right offhand. This one turns you around a lot. I mean, really, just about any of them that takes advantage of your play space and has melee until you fall. Another good one for the Bloody Knuckles Award. So I'm sure everyone has their own experience with this. So we're going to get a lot of different votes for that one. So interesting to see what people are going to think about with the Bloody Knuckles Award. Marco Polo Award. Marco Polo, a great explorer. A lot of great environments to explore in VR this year, right?
Yeah, even that one that we were just talking about, the Under Presents, man. That's new, just came out, and that thing, exploring that world is crazy.
Yeah, you know what? I never even considered that, but you're right. This game here is probably up for at least a few nominations, if not to win a few of these awards. Gonna have to put some more time in the name of science.
Yep, that's right.
All right, the Dolby Award. Obviously, the Dolby Award would be for 3D audio. I thought about calling it the THQ Award because you know how you go to the movies and they show that THQ thing and it goes wah all around you. But Dolby known for 3D audio, so we called it the Dolby Award. The Crow Award. What do you think the Crow Award is, Ruuts?
Bad singing.
The Crow is the best soundtrack for a non-rhythm game. Do you know why? Why I called it The Crow?
The movie The Crow?
Do you remember the soundtrack from the movie The Crow? How awesome the soundtrack was?
Yeah. That was
Yeah, it had like Nine Inch Nails and Pantera and a bunch of different bands on it. It was really great.
Yeah, that movie was actually pretty good.
Yeah. So the best soundtrack for a non-rhythm game, obviously, when we're talking about soundtracks here, it wouldn't be fair to include the rhythm games because that's what they're built on. They're built on music. So we're talking about best soundtrack for all of the other games other than the rhythm games. So that's the Crow Award. The Band-Aid Award. Ruuts, what's the Band-Aid Award?
The Band-Aid Award, actually. Hold on a second. I have no idea, dude.
It's the best patch. The best patch,
that's
right.
Right.
It's the
Yeah,
Band-Aid.
Right. I should remember that one.
So we got a lot of great patches this year. A lot of much needed ones too. When you start thinking about how No Man's Sky was when it came out, how Aspire 1 was when it came out. Some timely patches to those games. The Wonder Bra Award, related. It's also it's the best ongoing support of a VR game. A few of these, right, that got good support year-round, Ruuts?
Yeah, some of them actually really like Seeking Dawn, and some of the games they really worked on it. I think that was actually an older one. So,
Well, with these patch awards, like with DLC patches, ongoing support, the game doesn't have to be released in 2019. Just the patch, the support had to take place this year.
okay.
So when it comes to best ongoing support of a VR game, it could be a game like I Expect You to Die. That game got a lot of support. 2 or 3 DLCs added into it. Arizona Sunshine got a bunch of DLC this year. So either of those would be great selections for the Wonder Bra Award.
That's going to be a big category then, right? There's a lot of stuff it could be. It's pretty much open. So,
yeah, we have a few of these categories where, I mean, it's a testament to what kind of year 2019 was. I mean, there was just so much great stuff that happened this year.
yeah.
The Soylent Green Award. Do you remember Soylent Green, Ruuts? You remember what it was?
People.
It's people. It's a cookbook. A cookbook.
Mm-hmm.
The Soylent Green Award is for the biggest surprise in a VR game. We've had some plot twists this year, Ruuts. Had a few.
Yeah. One of the biggest ones I remember was this one here. Intruders. The story was like bam, like there's a lot of different plot twists, and I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah, we're actually whenever we pick the winner for this category, sorry guys, spoiler alert, we're gonna have to talk about what happened. And if it's this, I don't think we've actually talked on camera about what happens in this game ever, have we?
Mm-mm.
We've always went non-spoiler with it.
Yeah, we touched on about how
A little bit. We hinted at it.
Yeah, we hinted, and we said that there's some characters in the story that are a little shadier than others. So.
Yeah, there's a specific moment in this game that
jaw dropping.
It's like, whoa. Yeah. Really? Actually, there's more than one. There's a couple of different things that happen. And you're like, whoa, really?
Yeah, the story drove this game. It really made you want to keep going because you had to see where it was going. So that's good.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely a good one, a good candidate for the Soylent Green Award. The Godzilla Award, Ruuts. Do you know what the Gojira? You know what that award's for?
Well, yeah. My assumption before I looked at it was scale, right? Like it's
scale.
Godzilla was so big, and again, there's so many games out there that are amazing with scale, and so that category again is going to be wide open.
Yeah, lots of good examples of scale. I could think of two right offhand that I don't know how I'm going to pick between the two. Like two great uses of scale in difference in perspective, perspective changes. Like in Golem and in Asgard's Wrath. How do you pick that, man? Both of them did such a great job, and there's even more. I mean, there's a lot of good examples here of developers manipulating scale to really create this awesome immersion in these worlds. Man, it's been a while since I've been in this one, but when I think about being tiny on that
table,
on the table next to that blacksmith. I mean, that's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, he's so huge, and then just everything. I mean, even just that. I just got to where I played before was just where that old guy was, blind guy, and even just the way that when you became him, and he was like, "Oh my God, I can see," and thank you the gods, and it was just I don't know, man. This game is just it's a good one.
It's too good, right?
Yeah, it's too good. I might just play this and say screw it and just
Yeah. Just pick this as the winner for
Yeah,
everything. I mean,
across the board.
it's such a diverse game. It could probably place in half the categories, right? Because there's so many different things that happen in this game.
I'm pretty sure. I think Mamefan may have had like 3 or 4 categories for this. I know that there's some people that have a lot of games that are in multiple categories, and that's what's so exciting about this. I love to see everybody else's opinions. You know, I know what I like. I know what you like mostly, and you know, I want to see what everybody else collectively feels is the best game or the best scale. Because, like you said, you know, I've never tried Golem. But from what I hear, the scale on this is next level. So, you know, it's going to be an interesting conversation for sure.
Yeah, this game is pretty much built on manipulation of scale. It's really cool. All right, so that's the Gojira Award, and then we have the 420 Award. I know you know what that one's going to be, Ruuts.
Yeah, it's the one that's going to make my eyes squinty and bloodshot.
Right.
Yeah.
Like the best game to play in Colorado or California or Washington or the Netherlands.
Jamaica's a good place. That's where I love to play. I didn't play VR back then, but when I did go to Jamaica, I definitely experienced a little bloodshot eye. So
yeah. Could you imagine having some of this year's VR games to zone out into when you were in that altered state?
Oh yeah. Well, I don't have to imagine too much.
I do.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Your job. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But I think the times are changing. I heard that some kind of legislation was passed here this past month, so things are moving. Maybe we'll get there one day where I can be on level playing ground with you.
I'll tell you what, you know, things changed here 10 years ago too, and slowly moved to where it's at now. So it's just a slippery slope before everybody's, you know, evilly smoking weed instead of drinking themselves to death. So
yeah. Hopefully they get the deal done before the McRib gets back.
Oh, McRib, dude, I haven't had one of those for a long time. That's good.
Anyway, the Jerry Rice Award. What's the Jerry Rice Award?
Oh man, that's the. I mean, we all experienced this like 10 times. You know, I mean, this would be one game that you could do it with in any game that you're going to look at your hands and say, "Whoa." You know, the best hands, really, I guess, because, you know, everybody knows Jerry Rice arguably has the best hands. Of course, I would say that preface this with 49ers fan is the one that chose the name for this.
Well, I mean, you could just look in the record.
Oh, that's right. That's true. Right. That's true. Yeah.
But yeah, Jerry Rice, best hands, and you know, a lot of cool looking hands in VR. It's the first thing we look at, right? We all, even like today when I went into boiling steel, what was the first thing I did? I looked at my robot hands, right? And when I went into the under, I mean, you don't really have hands at first in the under presents, but they do kind of come into formation before you can even do anything else. You have to get your hands. A lot of beautiful hands, right?
Yeah, there's some good hands. Actually, and that's one of the things that like everybody uses that for different reasons too, because like you go in and your first thing is you want to look at the hands to see for graphics, right? And then a lot of it's just how well they move, and like it does tell you a lot, and it's the first thing people see in every video is like Mamefan said he does it in his videos to let people know it's VR. So, you know, and that's kind of a good idea, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So, Jerry Rice, the Old Shoe Award. So, the Old Shoe is for that game that just feels good, Ruuts. Had a few of those, right?
Yeah, this one right here is my favorite so far of, I mean, just the way it feels. Like, that's the thing. Like, even we were, Anthony was talking about Shadow Legends today on his channel, and that would be another good one. It's just like certain games just feel good to play, and I think people discount that. Like, it's great to look good, and things look beautiful and the story is awesome. But if it plays like shit, if it doesn't feel good, like I think it was at Gerillo or somebody finished this game or was getting ready to, and they said they were sad that they weren't going to be playing this game anymore because it's so fun to play. And there's a lot of them out there. So
Yeah, absolutely. This is a great choice, and there's so many other good ones too. Like Blood and Truth, I felt was really fun to play. It just felt good
yeah,
to play Blood and Truth.
yeah. And Pistol Whip is another one.
Pistol Whip, yeah, absolutely. When you finally get the level down, and you can do it on beat and make it all the way through, dude, it's a great feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, and it's just fun, man. It's just like certain games and I think that's the longevity of these games. Like there's just certain games that you could play them a million times and you're going to want to go back in and play it a million and one times. We were just talking today in alt space, and I think it was gaming science teacher. She was saying about the affected the manner, and she was saying it was cool, but there's no replayability in it. And I think, that's has a lot to do with a lot of games as well. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Affected the manner, a cool thing, to put someone in that's really the value when it comes to buying that. It's not very expensive and it's a good demo. Like anybody could go through that. Even people who have issues with scary stuff, it's not like going to give you a heart attack. There's a few scary parts in it, and it's just mostly creepy. But yeah, a lot of value in a game like Audica, for example, that you could just play that game forever, right? Because it feels so good.
Yeah, and even taking off, I was saying earlier in yesterday's video that I haven't played this for a month almost, and I went back in today and I played 5 songs and was right back in it, and it was reminded me. I'm like, dude, this is just fun as hell. So
fit like an old shoe, right?
yeah, it was almost like I put on my old shoe and just going back home. So
all right, the Richard Simmons Award, the best game to work up a sweat. Many of the same games we just listed, right?
Yeah, nothing worse than this one as far as making you sweat, and not worse in a good way, because man, you get moving. And that's a very fitting title, and I'm pretty sure most everybody knows who Richard Simmons is. I was just thinking this just off the fly. I would love to see Mamefan do a video of a workout game dressed as Richard Simmons, and I think it would get some good views. I would enjoy it anyway. So.
Yeah, I would dig that myself.
Just thinking about it makes me laugh. So.
Yeah. Just thinking about Richard Simmons period makes me laugh.
Yeah,
because he's such a hilarious human being.
Yeah.
The Being Gay Award, the game you're most likely to feel the next day. Again, Pistol Whip, a shining example of that, right?
Yeah. This one is like one of those ones that makes you realize that you have muscles in your legs. At least it did for me. I swear it was like 3 or 4. It was the combination, man. I literally played this for like 3.5 hours straight. Who does squats for 3.5 hours? Like, I didn't think about it at all. And then the next day I was like, why the hell do my legs hurt so bad? And then it dawned on me, oh man, I messed up. I didn't touch this game for almost 3 or 4 days. So
yeah, you gotta get that footwork going on. Can't squat every time, bro.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, the Jack of all trades. This is one of my favorites, Ruuts. The Jack of all trades, VR game developer of the year. We call it the Jack of all trades because generally these guys can make any game. The ones that we're talking about for the game developer of the year, they have a lot of different types of gameplay that they can make. Servios is a good one. What about our good friends at Archiact, who they've shown quite a bit of diversity as well, haven't they?
Yeah. There's so many good developers out there, and this is one of the reasons why this is one of our favorite categories, is because our show, we really do like to showcase developers. We really do like to the good ones. We like to point out, these are the ones you want to go to, and there's a lot of good ones out there this year.
Yeah, Fast Travel Games, after they had such a great port of Apex Construct on the Quest, and now they've got that game pretty much across all platforms, pretty reasonably close in quality, between PSVR, PCVR, and standalone. Apex Construct looks great, and then they did the Stolen Pets, which is a completely different type of game. Again, beautiful across all platforms, and then budget cuts too on top of that. So definitely another great candidate for the jack of all trades, because they're doing so many different styles of gameplay as well, right?
Yeah, that's definitely especially curious. It's there's so many different types, and I kind of like that. Like, even with Servios, branching out and not doing just one type of game. It's just amazing.
Yeah, Servios doing zombies and pirates and friggin' robots and everything, man.
Yep.
All right. From the Jack of all trades, we're going to go to the Walt Disney Award. Ruuts, what's the Walt Disney Award?
Walt Disney Award is the best animated experience in a game. And there's a lot of those as well, right?
Yeah. I mean, when you think between experiences and games, there's a ton. I mean, there's obviously you've got your animated experiences that we tried, like Wolves in the Wall really stuck out. But you also have these games like Curious Tale, beautiful animations in it. Even the Under Presents here, definitely a really cool looking art style, and a lot of cool looking art in this animation.
Yeah, and there's a lot of good. You mentioned Wolves in the Walls, which is one of my favorites, and there's just a lot of good animated things that came out this year, and it's a great category.
Yeah, I agree. Another one that I'm glad we're going to have help with, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Walt Disney Award brings us to the Newbie Award. And what the Newbie Award is for that title that came out in 2019 that we like to use as a demo for newbies. So what's the best game we got this year to use as a demo? Again, another category where we got a lot of good examples, right?
Right. Yeah. And again, another one that I go back to Pistol Whip, and it's just an amazing game that to showcase VR, and everybody loves shooting, right?
Yeah, shooting always great in VR. Wolves in the Wall, another great one. A Curious Tale, we just mentioned that one. That's another good one to put somebody new in. Ghost Giant, a great title for newbies, right?
Yep.
And that's really it's a front runner for the animation one as well, right? The Walt Disney Award, great animations in Ghost Giant.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Blood and Truth is a good one as well for new people. As far as showcasing what a PlayStation VR can do.
Yeah, and not only that, like the locomotion is like simple in that game because of the nodes.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, moving on. Got a few more left here. The Solid Snake Award. What's the Solid Snake Award, Ruuts?
Solid Snake goes to the best stealth in VR award, and again, I would say I'm trying to find the thing for the Intruders, but I felt like that was a really good stealth game. We had a few. Yeah, it was definitely not. Some stealth games are not really stealth games. You don't have to hide. This is one you have to hide, man. That dude's in your face, and these they're kids, man. They're not. It's not nice. So.
Yeah, I know, right? They were rude, man. Smacking these kids, kicking them. I mean, just terrible human beings.
Yeah.
Especially that one skinny little crack the skank,
Mm-hmm.
that little skanky looking girl.
Yeah.
But we also had Aspire 1. We had Rogan. We had a few decent stealth games this year. The Waggle Award. What's the Waggle Award?
That's for all the annoying games that, or I guess the lack of annoying games that you don't have to waggle your sword, right? So it's actually melee. Best melee.
Best melee. What would have been a weak point last year if we did an awards show last year is actually a strength this year, because not only did 2019 was it the year that we really turned the corner on high quality AAA experiences, but it also was the year that we started to figure out how to do melee, and we got a handful of great melee games this year. The one you're looking at there, very good. And the Ninja Legends was great as well, right?
Yeah, it's just one of those things that before 2019, everything was a waggle. Like you said, there was no melee. This is the year that they finally got melee down. And even Asgard's Wrath, again, arguably one of the best melee that exists in VR. Right up there with the other ones we just showed, and this hits almost every category. So
yeah, and any of these games that if you don't, if you try to waggle in these games, you're going to get killed, because they fixed it. They finally fixed it where you can't just go and make your way through these melee games like Golem. There's no way you can do that in Golem. You'll get crushed immediately.
you may be able to waggle in Shadow Legend. I can't remember. I can't remember.
Maybe Shadow Legend.
Yeah, but that's a testament, because that was early on in the year, and by the time they made it halfway through, almost every game in Melee was coming out amazing, just one after another. So
right, yeah, I agreed. All right, the Mark Twain Award, Best Narrative of 2019. Again, some great stories told this year, right?
yeah, this is your category, man. You love stories. Who doesn't love a story? But there's nobody that I know of that loves a good VR story more than you.
Yeah, we had a lot of good ones. I mean, like, from the obvious ones like Ghost Giant and Golem. I mean, we had Defector that was told this year, and Blood and Truth was like a freaking movie, dude. And like Asgard's Wrath, how many stories did they tell in that thing?
Yeah.
And I mean, just on and on and on and on.
Yeah, there's just so many. Just good, It's the longer ones that chew up my time, like Asgard's Wrath with the 6 different stories or whatever.
Intruders, what a story they told, right?
Yeah, that's the thing, is like there's games like that make me want to finish. Like I'm weird, man. I don't believe that every game deserves my time to finish a game. Just because I started it doesn't mean I need to finish it. You know what I mean? Like if I turn on a movie tonight and it's shit, I'm not going to watch the whole movie. I'm just not going to. None of those people that might feel like they have to. But if a game makes me finish it, it was a good game, because it was compelling enough to keep me going.
Right, exactly. Yeah, when you play as many games as we play, obviously we can't just the games aren't entitled to our time. We're checking them out, trying to help promote VR, try to tell you people. Our friends what's good, what to buy and what not to buy. But especially when it comes to story driven games, you've got that initial 2 or 3 hours to hook us if you want us to see it through. And Intruder's a good example of that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially like you said, the twist. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah. All right. Coming down toward the bottom of the list, We got 5 more. First, we have the game changer, the game that's most likely to have a lasting impact on the platform as a whole. And this is a funny category because it depends on how you look at it. Because we have these rhythm games that have blown up that are very popular, and now you see they're already having an impact. Like Blood and Truth is trying to be a rhythm game now because they've had such an impact. But then you have the Asgard's Wrath, which has the Asgard's effect. Now there's these new standards that everyone has to live up to, And then what about Boneworks, Ruuts?
Oh yeah, Boneworks is the physics on it. We've even said that it's going to change everything. Like from this point forward, at some point, they're going to try to make it feel more realistic. If they can pin everything perfectly, I just think it's next level physics wise.
Yeah, that's it. There may never be another game that does it quite like Boneworks, and that may not be a bad thing. That may be a good thing, but it's on the radar now, right?
Right.
That whether or not people think that Boneworks did it right or they did it wrong, now it's something that people are going to try to do, and they're going to learn from Boneworks' mistakes. They're going to learn from what they did right, and I like it or hate it, Boneworks and even to a larger extent Half-Life Alyx are going to have a lasting impact on the way VR games are made going forward.
Yeah. Each game, it's just like everything else. It gets better and better. So.
And then when you talk about Stormland, I mean, so many things this game did great that people are going to be trying to copy. Obviously.
Yeah. I think what Stormland did right was it just went deeper into the gameplay. And a lot of gameplay and a lot of games is shallow. And this is, just a lot more deeper in the things you can do. So.
Yeah, well, this is one of those old shoe games. It just feels good to play.
Yeah.
Because it's all about the locomotion and the movement in this game. Getting around this world is the fun part,
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so that brings us to the Party Time Award. It's Party Time Ruuts. Party Time Award is the best multiplayer game. Again, so many great games to look at here. I mean, we have co-op, we have versus, a lot of great multiplayer games, right?
Yeah. I don't have any good scenes here though for some reason, but yeah, there's.
Well, we don't have to do scenes for every category, but like say Deathlap, I had a lot of fun playing Deathlap.
Touring carts.
Yeah, exactly. Touring carts, another good one, another good versus. We had some fun in co-op this year too, though, right?
Yeah.
What did we play?
Yeah, we actually played quite a few games, right? Yeah, and I'm sure they're
drawing
a blank, right? Just like I am.
Stormlands. We're looking at freaking Stormlands right now, right?
Yeah. This one is actually really good. Even though I played with Driven By and I couldn't hear him, so we didn't get to talk. But this is a very good game for multiplayer.
Yeah, there's tons of it. There's, I mean, some people would argue Asgard's Wrath with the asynchronous multiplayer. No asynchronous. We're outlawing asynchronous multiplayer votes.
Well, if you want to put them down, I'll be interested to look at them, but they're not going to make it. But it'd be interesting to see what people think. But yeah, let us know. Like we're drawing blanks. Obviously, there's a lot of good co-op games out there. So
yeah. It's just getting late here, and we're at the end of a very long list.
Yep.
Lots of great multiplayer games come out this year. Best Windlands 2, did that come out this year?
It did, didn't it? Yeah, because all four of us played it together. How the hell did we miss that one, man? That was the best.
That was a fun one.
That was one of my most fun times I've played in VR. What shines about that is there's not many good games like that you can play with 3 other players. A lot do 1 player, sometimes 2, but not 3. And that was cool.
Yeah, it was great. The Lee Van Cleef Award. And the Lee Van Cleef Award's going to the best shooter. And how many great shooters did we get in VR this year?
Yeah, there's a lot of good shooters. And I guess I would include anything that's got a gun, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
You could technically say,
including Audica, including Pistol Whip, including Stormlands. Blood and Truth was friggin' outstanding. Anything that the main mode of combat was shooting is a shooter.
Yeah.
Rhythm shooters, action shooters, all shooters. What was the best shooter in VR this year?
That's right there. I'm just kidding.
Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, we'll see.
Maybe it was.
Yeah.
What do you think Lee Van Cleef would say about that?
He'd say you're full shit, Ruuts. This ain't the best shooter at all. This is a freaking music game. But
he'd say Borderlands 2 is what he would say.
Yeah. Yeah, he would have to. So
yeah. The Bob Ross Award for best graphics and artwork in a VR game. Have we ever had another year with more beautiful games than we had this year?
No, man. And again, this is why Asgard's Wrath will be probably in everybody's list in almost every category. Beautiful game. Stormland, beautiful game. Blood and Truth, amazingly beautiful game, especially on the Pro. Even Audica looks beautiful. I was just marveling at how beautiful that thing is. So a lot of things could fall into it. Pretty much could be just about anything, really.
Even like the indie games stepped up their game this year. Like, I mean, obviously they're not going to win the Bob Ross Award, but games like Boiling Steel look a lot better than they would have a year ago. Like Hellsplit Arena. How good did Hellsplit Arena look like when we were in there? Even Rogan looked awesome when we played it,
Yeah, it's very getting to the point now where you can rely on the graphics. It's the gameplay that really needs to be worked on, and the content. If you look at the top games like Asgard's Wrath, Stormland, there's just tons of content, and it's all AAA. And there's a lot of good competition that came out with in this year. So
yeah, Star Wars. I mean, this freaking Star Wars was awesome looking, man.
Yeah.
All right, that brings us to our last category. Whew, about out of breath, man.
Yeah, there's a lot on there, right?
Man, this is going to be a show, and this is going to be the show of shows, right?
Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
The Karl Marx Award, Ruuts. Do you remember what the Karl Marx Award was for?
The Karl Marx Award is for all the best free software out there, and that could include it's software, right? That could even be like a big screen type of thing, or I don't think that came out this year. I don't know, but
nothing's free, Ruuts. Somebody always has to pay for it, right?
Yeah, that's true. Although I'll tell you what, something that was free for Ruuts this week that I didn't know I wasn't supposed to get for free was damn, I always forget of that RTS game, Final Approach, or not Final Approach.
Oh yeah, Final Assault.
Yeah, Final Assault. Yeah, well, I guess it was free one day, and I grabbed it, and then I found out it wasn't supposed to be free. It was supposed to be discounted. So a lot of people got that game for free, and that was kind of cool.
Oh, well, that was an accident. That happens a lot on Oculus. Now, I never thought of it ever being an accident, but every now and then Oculus will just give a game away for free.
Yeah, I saw it. I jumped on it, and apparently in Anthony's show's chat today, I think it was Fluke Rogi or somebody told me that it was supposed to be or discounted, not free. I guess.
Well, they shouldn't lose any sleep over it, and I'll tell you why. Nobody picked up that game that would have bought it anyway. None of us are going to play it. We just have it in our libraries. I'd say that there may be 5 people that actually install it. Not to say that it's a bad game. It's just not very many people play those RTS games. I don't.
No, it's a good one, though. It is really good. Very strategic, if I can freaking speak. But yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it looks okay. If I was going to play that kind of game, I'd play that one. But dude, I got Asgard's Wrath I got to check out.
Yeah, you're not worried
I
about
could
Final
play
Assault.
Asgard's Wrath every day till February and still not beat it.
I have.
You know what I
I
mean?
think a lot of people beat it in like 3 sittings, right? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, yeah, those people are called sick.
Yeah.
They have mental issues. Like they can roll off these big, 5, 6, 7 hours gaming sessions. I can't do that, dude. I gotta have a break. 2 hours, I gotta have a break, bro. Maybe I can go 3 if I'm really hooked, but that's my limit, dude.
You just got to get to that point where you just need to stop. Take a break. If you really want to keep gaming, then cross to the other side and play a flat game for a little bit and come back.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
I feel dirty for saying that, but yeah.
Oh, anyway, that's gonna wrap our awards categories for the 2019 show. Ruuts, it's shaping up to be a party befitting the year that we had, right?
Right, absolutely. And what better things to do at a party than give away free games? So I'm kind of excited to do that too. And these are all good games, man. We have a lot of good developers that have put forward keys. And like I even think Deathlap is in there. And I mean, there's just there's good games in there. It's not a bunch of garbage. So I'm psyched to.
Yeah, we got Deathlap. A lot of the games we talked about, Intruders, Curious Tales, Apex Constructs, Evasion. Got a bunch of
Bridge
Arizona
Crew.
Sunshines. We've got all kinds of games, dude. Games and games and games and games. Killing Floor Incursion and Bridge Crew. You said Bridge Crew, right? Just tons of games. And even some lesser known ones. I'm trying to think. We got one for Ethereum, I think. I don't know. We got a lot. I can't remember all the games we got. We got a lot. And we just want to give back to you guys. Thank you for watching the show and helping us grow this year and helping us get the word out and helping us celebrate this awesome year. So again, the first day of 2020, we're going to say goodbye to 2019. Try not to get too trashed on New Year's Eve. And we'll give you a little bit of time, let you get a couple cups of coffee in you, and then we expect you all to converge on YouTube and meet us in the chat. And we're what we did just now is just kind of a warm up. We're going to really get into these categories and discuss the serious contenders and pick the winners. And we'll probably even talk about some of the bigger news stories that came out of 2019. I mean, crap, man, we could do a whole episode on hardware from 2019, right?
Yeah, there's so much. Yeah, this year's been the year for VR, in my opinion. This was the pivotal moment where VR started to make its move.
We could do a show, like an hour-long show on the headsets that died in 2019.
Oh god.
Star VR, where the hell did you go, bud?
Yeah, it just disappeared, right?
Yeah. Remember HP Reverb? Everybody was all excited about that. Blew it, completely blew it, right?
Yeah, and Vive just made some moves that were very questionable. Yeah.
That should have been a 2020 headset, bro. Which even, I'm starting to think now, even if Cosmos had come out in 2020, still probably be the same. They're not fixing it. It's been months now. It's still the same. It's not getting better. That scares me.
Yeah, that is weird, right? I don't know. I've lost a lot of faith. I mean, I already didn't have much in HTC, but I just would be very, very sketched, and I'm very surprised every time I see somebody's Reddit post starting out with, so I bought a Vive Cosmos, and I'm already thinking, no. So.
Talk about most likely to break something.
Yeah.
Those things, man, you knock your kid out. the kid comes across the floor at the wrong time. You're playing Pistol Whip with those Cosmos controllers.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine playing at night and somebody driving by your house? It looked like Watergate.
Yeah, if
There's
your batteries
freaking
aren't,
flashlights.
if they're not dead, right? Yeah.
Oh, brother. All right. So again, the Virtual Strangers 40, the Monday show number 20, those are going to get pushed into 2020. Next week, the only episode coming on Wednesday, January 1st, sometime in the early afternoon Eastern Standard Time. And that will be the 2019 show. Please help get the word out. Take it to Reddit. Take it to your friends. There are loads of new people coming into VR right now. And we've got loads of games to give away. So bring them all in and let's share. You know, you guys may all have Super Hot, but there's a lot of people right now that don't have Super Hot. And I guarantee you, even if you do have Super Hot and have Bridge Crew, we've got other newer stuff that we're giving away that you don't have yet. So be sure to come, bring your friends, bring your family, tell your dog, tell your pastor at church, tell the mailman, tell your local exterminator, right, Ruuts?
That's right. Yeah, let them know, man. Let them know you need to come to this award show. So.
All right. Anyway, so if you have liked this video, you know what to do. Do that right there. Click the red button if you're new to the channel and the bell if you want to keep up with all of our content here on the Virtual Strangers channel. So with that said, we'd like to thank you friends for watching. And for Ruuts, I'm Wes. We'll see you in about 10-ish days or so. Thanks again, guys. Bye-bye. Have a Merry Christmas.
Yep. Take it easy. Happy holidays.